Fletcher Rhoden, and this is Quotes and Quips. Today, words of wisdom from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Quotes and Quips is brought to you by my website, FletcherRhoden.com. That's where you can find links to my author's page on Amazon. That's where you can buy my books in paperback or for Kindle or an audiobook format. There's also a link at my website to my Spotify artist page. That's where you can download my various albums. I've got a 4-album set from last year, Quadrilogy, and a brand new album for this year, I'm Possible, that you can download from Spotify or any of your favorite download sites. You can also go to my website for other free stuff, free music, fun links, and more. Check it out. Okay, today we revisit Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who said, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that." Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. Well, like a lot of what the good Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, it needs little explanation. It's boldly said. It's hardly any parable. You can't fight fire with fire. It's one of the oldest ones. You know, King was well-educated man, and he made a lot of references in his speech. He references Moses. I've been to the mountaintop. I've seen the promised land. I may not be there when you get there. That all references Moses on Mount Sinai, where after he came down with the commandments. So, I think the man was well versed, certainly in the Bible, but also in other things. And so this quote is not, I mean, it's more of a reference than it does originate with him. He was a man in a series of men, and he learned at one point peaceful resistance, and he adopted that methodology. He was not the only civil rights leader of his day, and not all civil rights leaders agreed. Malcolm X, I believe, disagreed with Dr. King on this particular approach. By any means necessary, I think, was Malcolm X's preferred approach, but King was more into, he assumed the passive resistance approach. And this also, by the way, was Moses's approach. Let's talk a little bit about Moses, the leader of the first and perhaps greatest civil rights movement of all time. I mean, it's easy to remember King and Gandhi, and these were leaders of and Jesus. These were civil rights leaders. But Moses was too. Exodus is a civil rights movement, the first recorded civil rights movement, and it also gives us the birth of passive resistance, because Moses didn't lead the Hebrews on an assault on Pharaoh, Spartacus style. He just said, "We're leaving." And actually the Pharaoh said, "Okay, you can go." And then Pharaoh changed his mind. That's a different thing. So to get back to King, King assumes passive resistance, and he becomes the torch bearer for that. And this quote of his, "Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that." He reminds us of a truth foretold, and one to keep in mind. There are so many quotes about this. I can't tell you that. I researched so many quotes, and so many of them say the same thing. It's akin to Gandhi's quote of, "Be the good you wish to see in the world." Well, if there's too much hate in the world, then you have to be love. If there's too much darkness, you have to be light. You can't fight fire with fire. That's something that in 2024, in the political struggles, we saw a lot of fighting fire with fire. Now, it's true, though, that you can't always just, if the dragon's coming at you breathing fire, you can't just stand there saying love, because you'll wind up a charcoal briquette. That's not good. Sometimes you gotta fight. Sometimes by any means necessary is not the wrong approach. Because, when you're facing dragons that think themselves grand, you gotta fight. But let us embrace the passive resistance of King and his part of the movement, and agree that love is the only cure for hate. More hate won't stop hate. That's true. Groucho Marx said very pithily, I like the cracked, because the cracks are what let in the light. Now, he, of course, was talking about the illumination of humor into society and how humor casts a light on the darkness of society. But it's true, though. And King, only light can do that. Darkness cannot defeat darkness. It cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. So, keep that in mind. Be the light. Be the good you wish to see in the world. Don't fight fire with fire. Don't throw darkness at darkness. King gave his life so that these sentiments may resonate in later generations. And I think it behooves us all to help carry that torch and hold that candle to the darkness to light the way. Let us be cracked if we have to be, because then we'll let in the light. And only light can drive out darkness. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. Well, I was honored to share a quote from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. today, as I am to share a quote on every webisode of Quotes and Quips. I'm here alternating Mondays at noon right here on this YouTube channel. Alternating Mondays will be occupied in this slot by my other new show, Fletcher Rhoden's Pet Peeves. Why my pet peeves? Because I don't know yours. Anyway, you can also watch 2024's run of Quips and Quotes. Quotes and Quips, sorry, that's right here on my channel. And you can also watch Tracking the Lone Wolf on its own YouTube channel right here on YouTube. So check these things out. Go to Spotify and download some of my albums. Last year's 4-album set, Quadrilogy. Or this year's new album, I'm Possible. Enjoy those things. Tune in again. Until next time, bye, Mary.